Hello, this is David, and we're going to review today how to program an LPAS local controller, or ELC. And to do that, I've got a small setup here. I've got my ELC over here. I've got an LF exciter, an ALC LF exciter over here. We've got a LPAS display panel over here, a tag. I've got a reed switch to simulate a door contact. I've got my junction box. And that's about it. In Omni over here, I see I've got my LF exciter. I'm sorry, my ELC. If I beep that, that beeps the ELC. I've got the room 104 high wall is my LF. I can beep that. It's over here. And yeah, let's, for the benefit to make things a little simpler, we're going to call this ELC. And this we're going to call LF exciter. Okay, just to make things a little clearer. Now we're going to, in my ELC, go to the local control. First thing we're going to do is just a basic button press rule. Okay, so we're going to add, let's call this button 1, and it's going to be a button 1 down. Notice that when I fill in these fields, I click on the triangle, and that opens up the editor. And I'm going to do a button press on anything that the ELC picks up. Again, a local control, you can define a rule for anything that comes in from anywhere on the bus. So if you have many RF receivers on the bus that cover a large site, let's say a whole office, then you would select here any device. And for the badges, I want to select just the David Fensterheim badge, just to keep things simple. And I'm going to add an action. What happens when that's triggered? So let's play buzzer for 1 second. And by checking this while this is highlighted, then I am making an association between this action and this rule. So I'm going to set the buzzer, activate that for 1 second. All's good. And I'm going to download that. So this is my first rule base. I've got a button press and I've got a buzzer. So I'm going to take my tag, press the button, and it buzzes the thing. It's slightly more than 1 second because the tag transmits 3 messages at a ½ second apart, so it's more like 2.5 seconds is the length of that buzz. All right, so that's our rule base, basic concepts, creating a download. If I disconnect the controller from my LAN, so it's not communicating with the back end, and I press the button, I'm still getting the buzzer because the decision is being made on board the controller, right? Just to understand that. Now we're going to add another, let's say, action, and we are going to display, and we're going to display on the LPAS display panel. We're going to select display in order for it to send a string to it, and that will display for 10 seconds. Now, the display has 4 lines. I can double click on the rule and say what is going to be displayed on the first line. And I'm going to say it's attack alarm. And let's download this. Okay, so now if I press my button, it says attack alarm David Fensterheim. ELC is the location, is the reader that picked it up, and the timestamp. So I've got my LPAS display panel, the controller sending messages directly to the LPAS display panel. Next thing, let's define a NearExit alert. So I'm going to call this NearExit. And it is going to be an LF rule of any LF event type. I can have LF with button, but I'm not going to do that. And I'm going to select the LF, which in this case is my LF exciter. Also, let's just select my tag. And when it's near I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to give it a different text. We're going to call it elopement. And when this occurs, I'm also going to set the buzzer and the display. So as you can see, I can have many-to-many relationships. I can have multiple actions per rule, and I can have multiple rules per action. I'm going to download that. So now if I put my tag on the LF exciter, then I get the elopement message here, and I get the beeping. That'll time out after 10 seconds. And do it again. So there you go. Now, what I want to do is I want to do a door condition for this rule. So I want to do now 2 fresh rules of door open and door closed. Now the door open, we're going to set it as it's an input rule because we're wired to one of the inputs. There are 7 inputs in the ELC. This is number 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6, and 7. So this is wired to input number 2. So I'm going to do it's an open of resistor because this is so I have this wired normally closed, and when I open it, I'm going to get an open. So I'm going to get an open of resistor. Open and close I only get when I use an end-of-line terminator, which I'm not here. So open of resistor, and it's going to be that input 2, right? And when this happens, what do I want to do? I want to do 2 things. I want to first turn on the red LED to know that I've got feedback indicating that this door is now armed, right? So red LED, and that is showing up on the LF exciter red LED, and we're going to set it 0 because I want it indefinite until the door is closed, as long as that alarm is activated. I haven't yet showed you how to activate and deactivate the alarm, but right now we're dealing with the LED, right? And then I'm going to, that's for the door open. When the door opens, I want to activate the alarm, but we'll do that later. Let's first do a door close. Door closed, and this is same input, but in this case it's a short of resistor, and we are going to do, and it's the input 2, and in this case I want to do a green LED. Right, so I'm going to do the LF exciter, and it's the green LED, again for 0. So let's just, and we're going to make sure we're associated, the door closed is associated with the green, the door open with the red. So let's download that for now, and let's just make sure that that's working. Successful. So if I open that, I get the red. If I close it, I get the green. Open, get the red, close, I get the green. Now when I open the door, I want to enable the exit alarm, and when I close the door, I want to disable the exit alarm. Right? So I'm going to add another rule, and this rule is going to be called, let's say, arm exit. The arm is going to be when we have a door open. And to be able to select a rule that we want to enable or disable, I have to uncheck the devices. Then I select rule as what I'm going to be doing to it, and then select the exit alarm. And we want to, in this case, activate it indefinitely until the door closes. That's how we enable a rule. Then we're going to need one that disables on the door close. So I'm going to have disarm exit associated with the door closed. Again, uncheck the actual devices, go to rules, select the NearExit, and deactivate this now indefinitely. Download. Okay, successful. So if let's just initiate all this. So now I've got green. So if I have green, that means it's deactivated. I could put the tag on there, no alarm. Even though the tag flashed, I know it's on the LF, but I got no alarm with that, right? But if I open the door and the LED is showing red, I now put the tag on there and I get the alarm. We'll repeat every 2 seconds because of the tag transmitting while it's under the alarm. Take it out from under the door and it stops beeping. Now, of course, instead of setting the beep, you can set a command to lock the door. Instead of using the door contact condition, you can use, or in addition to, a button press on a nurse call badge or a pin code on a see my other video that I have the keypad. That's the basic functionality. You can set rules again for a tamper. That's a button 2 on your tag. So if you have a patient wandering system, you can also alarm for the tamper when they open up if they cut open their band. And it could be used as a general panic alarm. So that's pretty much it. Try to keep it short. If you have any questions, let me or any of the LPAS support team know. Have a great day.